All right, good morning and then welcome. We are going to look at how to design certificates using Microsoft Office Word. We're supposed to do this in class before the assignment has been given out, but because of time and the number of times we had to meet, we were not able to finish it. So I'll just be snappy about how to work with certificates before you start with your assignment. All right, so the same way you launch Microsoft Office Excel in class, like I explained about, that's the same way you are also supposed to launch MS Word. So you go to the Windows logo key on a keyboard or the search. You click on the search and then you type Microsoft Office Word. Once you type it, you should be able to see something like this. My interface might be a slightly different from your interface, but the basic principles are the same. So let's quickly look at the features. I spoke about it in the video I've shared with you. So the first one, you see that this is the name of the Word, that is document 1. Excel was book 1, but this one is document 1. Right, document will have several pages, so Word you can have several pages. Now this is how you save. This icon, that's how you save. This is auto save, right? So the auto save, once you turn it on, automatically your work will be saved as you progress, but this one goes to the cloud. So now this icon right here is when you make a mistake and then you undo, right? And then this is redo. You make a mistake and then you undo. You want to redo, you go ahead, right? So undo takes you back, redo takes you forward, right? And this is if you want to print your work, and this is if you want to save. Now, like Microsoft Office Excel, we have the menu items here: home, insert, draw, design, layout, references, mailing, review, and then view. Yours might be a little bit different. And like I explained in class, this what do you call it? Holds the sub items under each of these items. So we call it the ribbon, the design, the layout, the references, and then the mailings, right? Once you are doing your class with the librarians, you probably spend a lot of your time here at the references. Okay, so basically that is the interface. Now we have what you call the view options, right? So this is the print view. If you want to switch to the web view, right? So the view layout changes the layout for you, right? And this is when you want it as an outline. This is what if you want it as a draft, right? But if you want it as the normal print layout, this is what you choose. Okay, great. Now let me quickly explain something. If I begin to type, right, like this is the insertion point. Okay, where the cursor is blinking, that is the insertion point. We call it the insertion point because that is how or where the text goes when you begin to insert. So if, for example, I bring it and then I click here and then I begin to type, okay, the text appears at where the always is blinking. So this is the insertion point where it's blinking, but what I'm moving around is what you call the mouse pointer. Okay, great. There are a couple of other things that you are supposed to know, but I'll be explaining them as and when the lecture is ongoing. If it becomes necessary, I'll explain them for you to be able to understand. All right, so let's move on. We want to design a certificate for someone in political science class for being the best student at the end of the academic year. Now, currently, what you are having here is more like your exercise book, how you place your exercise book and then you are writing. If you look at this thing right here, right? Great. Now, we want to design a certificate. Okay, so this view you are seeing is what you call the portrait, but we want to turn it around small, right? So that we have the width becoming longer than the height. Right now, the height is longer than the width, so we want to swap it, right? So this is the portrait, so we have to change it to landscape. Okay, so once you come to layout on the menu item and then you come to orientation, you click on your orientation. This is portrait and then this is landscape. See the difference? So you click on landscape and then this changes. Now where the insertion point is blinking, you see that there's a small space to the top and then there's a small space to the left. We call this the margins. Okay, so that is the margins around the text. Let me do some magic. Let me generate some random numbers here for you is equal to rand. It means generate random paragraph. If you hit enter, great. Now you can see that at the top we have some space here, we call it the top margin, and then we have some space here, we call it the left margin. Okay, now if you double click inside the top margin, you activate the header. If you double click inside the body, you activate the actual body to be able to work. There are instances where after you finish with your work, the question will ask you to insert your name and then index number and then your department in the footer or margin. Okay, now if you activate the header, now the header also activates the footer so that you can write here, and this place the body gets deactivated, right? So in this instance you can just enter your name here, like Mweniwa Esihene, Department of Political Science Education. Right, so if you hit Ctrl E, you bring it to the center. We'll look more at this as the lecture is ongoing. So this is how you write at the footer or even at the header, right? So this is the header. Okay, good. Now once you are done, you have to double click inside the body to activate it again. Okay, so let's double click inside the body and now it's activated, right? So this is how you switch between the header and then the footer. If for example you want to do it using the menu icons, just come to view. Okay, if you come to view, you should be able to see the header and footer here in your what do you call it, in your Word application. Mine is a little bit different. In your Word application, you should be able to activate it from here, or it's a layout. You should be able to activate it from there, I think. Okay, great. Let's continue. Great. So this is how you go about the header and then the footer and then the main body. So let me do Control A. Control A means select all, and then let me click on backspace and clear everything. We don't want the information here, so I will do Control A, clear it. I'll come here, do Control A, and then I'll clear it. Then let's double click inside our main body. Great. So now let's continue. We want to design a certificate. Okay, so we want to just change the color so that it looks nice. So if you want to change the color, you want to design the page, so you go to design on the menu bar. Now once you go to design on the menu bar, come to your right, you see these things there. See, we have the page color, we have the watermark. We'll come back to the watermark very soon, and then we have the page borders. Okay, so now let's click on the page color. Now on the page color, you see that we have the theme colors here. Okay, so you can click on any of these colors that you want, and it changes the background of the Word document for you. Okay, for you, we have what you call the fill effects. Unfortunately, I don't have it in mine. I would have actually shown you. I don't have it in mine. But it should be possible for you to combine multiple colors. Okay, but I don't have it in mine. Unfortunately, I don't have it in mine. So I don't know what we'll do, because this is important to me. But let me explain it, right? Even though it's not here, let me explain it so that you can practice it if you have time. Now once you go to the page colors, you should see something we call the fill effect. It will be here as part of the options. If you click on the fill effects, they give you the option to combine two colors. So you can select color 1 and then color 2. And then once you select color 1, color 2, for example, for the color 1 you can select yellow, and then for color 2 you can select white. So Word will give you the option to combine these two colors, so that instead of having one color, you can have two colors here. And then those colors can be combined in a really nice way to make it nice, right? So there are instances where maybe you don't want color yellow to start from the middle while it fades into color white. along the edges of your pages. Okay, there's also the option where you might want yellow to be on the left and then white to be on the left. That is the fill effects. Once you are using your Microsoft Office Word, you should be able to practice it. It makes it very nice, and then you can select whether you want diagonal up, diagonal down, and choose any color you want. Okay, that is that. I can't go and do a different tutorial we don't have a lot of time. Great. So let's choose a color. Let's choose quite a light color for our certificate. So this is what we have. Okay, now once we are done, we want to also select page borders because we want to bring some borders around. So let's click on page borders here. Great. Now for the page borders, you have this option here. Okay, now you would want the page borders to cover everything, so don't touch anything, and then we select a color that we want. Okay, so let's choose this color, and let's choose a color that will complement this. I'm not very good with colors. And then we can choose the size we want, and then we can choose the style we want. So you see, this is the style, simple styles. So let's choose this style, and then let's choose the width as let's make the width a little bit bigger, so like this. Great. So if you look on your right hand side, this is how it will look like. Okay, if you want to deactivate some, you can deactivate some. So this deactivates the top and reactivates it, right? So you can choose how you want the borders to apply. So here, let's select everything. This is the down, this is the top, right? Once you are done, we are applying it to the whole document. You click on OK. Great. So this is how it looks like. Now if you do not want the lines, and then you want, for example, an art, you can also select any of these arts. Let's select the star, and this is how it will look like. If you want to deactivate the top, you go ahead, deactivate it how you want it, and then you click on OK. So this is what we have, right? So this is like the background of our certificates. Now the next thing we want to do is to give our certificate a heading. Okay, but we don't want the text to start from the left, right? We don't want the text to start from the left, so we are not going to do that. So we need to do what you call text alignment. Okay, now if you look here, we have this here which says that align to the left. It means that once you start writing, the text will be moving from the left to the right. Now if you do center, it means that the text will be centered. If you do right, align to right, it means that the text will move from the right to the left. And then if you do justify text, it means that the text will align both to the left and then to the right. Let me generate a random text to explain this concept to you. So let's do 5,5, and then let's, right? So this is the text that we have. To make sure you understand, we can change the text color. Okay, so let's highlight everything. You click, you hold, and then you drag. You highlight everything, and then if you come to the home, you have the option to change the text color. Okay, so let's click here, and then let's change the text color to white so that you see it clearly. Great. So this is our text. This is one paragraph, another paragraph, another paragraph, and then another paragraph. Okay, now for the first paragraph, if you want to align everything to the center, just come and then click center. Everything aligns to the center. See what I was talking about? So now the text is aligned to the center. Now let's demonstrate another one using the next paragraph. We want to bring it to move it from the right. So you can see that it is moving from the right to the left. Now if you do this, for example, and then you want it to be justified, you justify it. Okay, now to help you understand it, let me select everything, all the text, and then let's align it to the left. So it's moving from the left to the right. Now this is the text centered, and this is the text moving from the right to the left, and then this is the justified. It is aligned both to the left and then to the right. So in most of your assignments, they are going to ask you to align the text justified, right? So it means that once you are done typing your work, you have to make sure that for each paragraph, or you select everything and then click on justify so that the text is aligned to the left and right. So it depends on the instructions. Now if you want to change the font size you can change the font size from here. Once you select the text, you have to select the text first before you can change the font. Okay, You can increase it to 20 so that it becomes a little bit bigger, right? But this is too big. We are just practicing. Let's make it 16, okay? Or we can make it even 14. Good. If you want to change how the text look, we call it the text fonts. You can choose Times New Roman, for example, and then you can change it. If you want to do another style, you can click on American Typewriter and then it changes it for you. But let's stick with the Times New Roman. Okay, so these are some of the things you need. If you want to change the text color, I've explained how you go about it. Okay, you can practice around. Now let me clear this. Now let's do our certificates. Now we are going to do certificate of merit. Okay, there are several certificates. You have certificate of honor, certificate of merit, certificate of recognition. So this one we are doing certificate of what? Merit. I want you to finish typing everything before you start designing it so that you don't waste a lot of time with one. So certificate of merit, and then you can go that this certificate, okay, is awarded to space Muaniwa Esihine, okay, for being the best student in political science, okay, during the 2024-2025 academic year. Okay, now let's work with this for the time being. Let's arrange this to make sure that it's really nice. Now we want to highlight the first text. So let's click and hold and drag and highlight the first text. We want to design it to make it look nice. So we want the certificate of merit to be at the center of the page, okay? So we have to center align it so that it comes to it. And then also the certificate of merit is supposed to be big, right? So we can increase the font size to, let's say, 26, right? Let's increase it a little bit to 36 so that it's big. See? Great. Because you have to arrange it well, else the space here will finish. That's the reason why if you finish typing before the arrangement is good. Now, once this is done, I want to apply some style. So in Word, in Microsoft Office for Windows, the ones you'll be using, we call it Word Art. I have mine here, right? So once you select the text, you can select a Word Art for the selected text. Very good. See how nice it is? Now let's increase the font size a little bit. Let's increase it to 48. Great. So we have our Word Art here. Okay. Now you can see that the what do you call it? The background is a little bit, deep. So we are not seeing the certificate of merit well. So we can go back to the design, and then you can look at the page color, for example, and then we can pick a lighter color. This one is even worse. Deeper color. Yes, I think a deeper color makes it comes out properly. So we have our certificate of merit. Great. Now, if you come to the beginning of the text, right, and then you hit enter to move the text to the next line. Okay. If, for example, I want to move during the 2024-2025 academic year, I'll just come to stand in front of it, click there of the text, and then I'll hit enter. Right, it will move the text to the next line. Okay, great. So let me click backspace and move it back. So we come here and then we want to arrange it, so we'll hit enter a little bit, right? And then this particular text to this certificate is awarded to, right? Now for this one, we want to also bring this one to the center. So let's come to home and then let's do center align. Okay, and I want to increase it a little bit, so let's increase the font size to, let's say, 26, and then we can change the font type, right? Instead of Times New Roman, we can go with something like Palatino Linotype, right? So this certificate is awarded to, still it seems a little bit small, right? So we can make it 28. Great. So this certificate is awarded to, and then we can also center align Muaniwa Esihine, right? So let's bring it to the center. See, great. And then for this one too, we have to change. Let's make something like American typewriter, right? And then let's increase the font size to, let's say, 48, right? Can see that this certificate is awarded to is very close to the Mwenuwa Esihine, right? So we'll have to bring it down like this. See, perfect. Can even bring it down a little bit, or we can even bring this one down a little bit. The arrangement is entirely up to you, but you have to make sure that you have a lot of space here. Now let's come to the beginning of the text and then bring it down, right, a little bit. So this certificate is awarded to Mwenuwa, I think it's 1A Esihine, for being the best political science student during the 2024-25 academic year. This one too, please, let's center align it, right? And then we can increase the font size to, let's say, 26. Perfect, right? And then we can bring this one down to join this one. Great. So certificate of merit, this certificate is awarded to Mwenuwa Esihine for being the best student in political science during the 2024. So let me bring political science education here, right? Then let's do during the 2024-2025 academic year. Perfect. So we've done it. Now let's assume that if, for example, you have no space left, you can reduce the size of this to, let's say, 36, right? Good, so that you have some spaces left below for you to continue. Now this certificate is supposed to be signed by, let's say, the patron for the association and then the head of department. Okay, so we want to bring their names here for them to be able to sign. If you want to do that, you have to insert something we call a text box, so that it will contain their names and then signatures separately. So this is how you go about it. You go to insert, I think it's at insert, and then there's a text box here. So it's like a box that can contain a text. Okay, now if you click on it, you can either draw, but we don't want to draw. You see there is a small arrow here. So we are going to just click on the text box, and then you come here, click on the draw text box, and then we'll come and draw our text box here, right? Great. Now once you draw the text box, it's like a shape, so they give you a shape right here. Okay, great. So you can just go ahead and then expand it small using the space. So you click and hold, and then you drag to expand it, right? Now once you are done, you can also insert another one. So you go to insert, and then you go to text box, draw text box, and then you can also draw another text box like this, right? Great. Now you can see that if you click inside the text box, it gets activated. Okay, and then there's a shape format. You see in Excel, when you insert a graph, the graph also brings along a menu item like I explained. Okay, now if you insert the text box, this menu item is given to you so that you can use the menu item to edit the text box for it to look nice. Okay, so now if, for example, you come here, you can make it like this, right? Or you can even make it something very nice, like the green color right here. Okay, now this is the outline. That's the line around it. You can increase the weight. Let's make it 2.5 so that it becomes big, right? So this is where the man will sign. Now if you come to the second shape as well, right, you come to the shape, and then let's select this particular shape because it's nice. We use the green one, right? That is for the outline. You come here, you can select green for the outline, and now you come to the weight, and then you increase it to 2.15, and then everything gets done for you. See how nice it is. See that this one is a little bit bigger, so you can just move it a little bit up and move this one a little bit down. Okay, so here and then here. Great. Now this is it. So here we have like a text box. If you want to move it, bring it to the edge, you can move it around, right, anyhow you want on the page. So now we enter the name of the patron, right? So we can call the patron Mr. Boache Ajiman. Okay, now if you come to home, you can center the text like I explained to you inside the text box. And here maybe we have the name of the president. The name of the president will be Mr. Opoku Emmanuel. Okay, and then we can center align it as well. Okay, and now you can double click inside, activate it, and then you hit enter, right? So once you hit enter, you can do shift hyphen, which is an underscore, right, for the signature where the person will sign. Okay, great. And then here to double click here, activate it, you hit enter, and then you can do shift underscore for where the person will sign. Okay, great. So let's come to the first one. Let's double click and activate it. Activate, yes, great. Now you hit enter, and then you can specify that he's head of department. Political science education. Let me correct this one. Great. And then you can say that this is the patron. Let's bring it to the right, enter, and then you can see patron. Right, if you insert a text box, it makes it very easy for you to do what you want to do. Right, so for example, you can decide to even increase the font size here. So home, let's increase the font size to, let's say, 20. Great. And then let's click this one, let's highlight, and then let's increase the font size to 20 as well. Great. So this one, we can do the same thing for this one, right? The head of department. So let's just highlight everything, and then let's increase the font size a little bit. So let's change this one to, let's say, Palatino Linotype, and then let's make the font size like, say, 14. Right, you can see that because it's big, it's gone downstairs. So you can just reduce the space here, so that it's fine, right? Or you can even reduce the space here. Good. So Control E, center it, and then let's increase the space small. Okay, fine. Let's do this. All right, great. And then we can do the same thing for this guy. So double click to activate, and like I told you in Excel, double click, activate it. Home, can change this one to Palatino Linotype. Great. And then you can increase this to 14. Great. So that's it. It seems it's not really aligned properly, right? So let's double click, and then backspace, reduce the space here. Good, so that it's well aligned. Small. So if you want to increase the space, you can just bring this one a little bit up. Right? Great. Now if you want this to be the same as this, you can actually change the font, right? So you can do Control E, select everything in here, right? And then we can change the font to white. But before we do that, let's change the background, right? So let's click on the shape, activate the shape, and then we can choose a background that matches the background of this one. But I don't think we have any background like that. We don't have a background like that. Great. We can change the background, and then let's if you click on the shape and changes it, it also changes the background for you. Good. So this is our certificate, right? The space for signing is small, so let's increase it a little bit. Great. So that their signature will go here. So that is how you design a certificate in Word, right? This is quite simple. And now, like I told you, I haven't done what I told you. Immediately you launch the application, you're supposed to save, right? So you go to File, Save As, and then you select the desktop, right? So for me, my desktop is on the left. It's not showing. Why is the desktop not showing? The desktop is supposed to show here, but let me save it inside my documents. And then you enter with the name of your your index number, which is 51315, and then the name of your department, political science, and then you click on save. Great. So basically, this is how you design certificates. I've already sent you the video of how to go about designing the timetable. If there are any questions, you can ask on the class platform. Enjoy the rest of your day.